Honoring Peacekeepers, the evolving role of Canada's Peacekeeping Monument. If you drive along Confederation Boulevard, a ceremonial route in Ottawa and Gatineau, you'll pass some of Canada's most recognized institutions and landmarks. The Canadian War Museum, the Supreme Court, Parliament Hill, the National War Memorial, the Rideau Canal, the Canadian Museum of History, and the official residences of the Prime Minister and Governor General. Between the National Gallery and the imposing U.S. Embassy, you will also pass by the Peacekeeping Monument, often recognized as the first of its kind. Canada has a rich and storied history of peacekeeping. In response to the 1988 Nobel Peace Prize awarded to the UN in recognition of 40 years of international peacekeeping, the Canadian Department of National Defence, DND, announced its intent to construct a monument commemorating Canadian forces involved in international peacekeeping missions. In 1990, DND launched a design contest for a Peacekeepers Monument, aimed at serving as a tribute to the living, not a memorial to the dead. The brief contained a very specific set of criteria, including a requirement that it will be able to function as an effective formal venue and to encourage and facilitate casual social interaction. Furthermore, the design was to include literal images and words to ensure the public could understand and relate to it. The winning submission, entitled The Reconciliation, reflects through its name the desire to find resolution in conflict. It was the product of a design team that included sculptor Jack K. Harmon, architect and urban designer Richard G. Enriquez, and landscape architect Cornelia Hahn Oberlander, in addition to other experts. Dedicated on October 8, 1992, the monument consists of several interrelated elements. When approached from the southeast, an undulating path is visible, inviting the visitor to interact with the space. The path is meant to symbolize the Green Line, a demilitarized zone dividing Cyprus, which was the result of a United Nations mission in which Canadian peacekeepers played a large role. The visitor first navigates through a corridor of granite walls littered with concrete and steel debris. The corridor narrows as the walls converge to form a sharp tip, pointing towards the resolution of conflict and leaving behind the rubble, a symbol for the devastation wrought by war. Atop the walls near the tip are three cast bronze figures, two men and a woman, unarmed yet alert. Two figures stand surveying the skyline, watching for potential threats. The third figure is crouched, appearing to relay critical information while also highlighting the importance of communication during peacekeeping missions. The figures are vulnerable in the sense that they are exposed from all angles. The artist explained this design choice, stating that he wanted to stress the idea that peacekeeping is a dangerous business. Peacekeepers show exceptional courage, putting themselves in harm's way as they undertake their work in areas of conflict. They also bear the responsibility of remaining impartial in order to uphold the credibility and legitimacy of the peacekeeping operation. To the right of the passageway, a slice of the wall is carved out to allow direct access to an open ceremonial space. Just beyond, a grove of 12 oak trees represents the 10 provinces and 2 territories that existed at the time. They serve as a reminder of the geographical diversity of the more than 125,000 Canadians who have served in peacekeeping operations since 1948. The trees themselves have special significance, as oak trees are symbols for strength, longevity, and wisdom, and remind us of the promise for peace. Inscribed along the right side of the monument is the word reconciliation, followed by a quote by former Prime Minister and visionary for peacekeeping, Lester B. Pearson. The left side reads, "In the service of peace." It then lists all Canadian peacekeeping missions to date. In addition, there is space reserved to record future entries. This suggests an openness to continued Canadian involvement in international peacekeeping efforts. Inside the granite walls, there is a brief description of the monument. Presently, the monument is undergoing maintenance work to address a number of issues and bring some elements into compliance with current codes. During this process, the site is fenced off and inaccessible to the public. It is clear that investments are being made to maintain the site and ensures longevity. Though the monument's initial intention was to serve as a tribute to the living, I believe that has changed over time. First of all, the grove of trees, which represents the renewal of life in the context of this monument, is reminiscent of the Heroes' Grove tradition, which can be observed in many places today. Such groves commemorate those lost in battle, so there's a natural association between this feature and the idea of remembrance. Additionally, every year on August 9, Canada marks National Peacekeepers Day, commemorating those who have served and sacrificed in peacekeeping missions. The monument serves as a focal point for these commemorations. Veterans, CAF members, and RCMP personnel alike who have served in various peace efforts gather to show their support for current peacekeepers, but also honor and remember the 130 Canadians killed in peacekeeping missions. This memorialization represents a shift in its purpose as it moves towards becoming a monument and a memorial for peacekeepers. Interestingly, this is also reflected in the newer explanatory text for the monument provided by the Government of Canada online, which recognizes both the living and the dead among those commemorated. Peacekeeping is ingrained in Canada's history and national identity, with the monument in Ottawa serving as a powerful tribute to those who have dedicated themselves to the cause. However, most Canadians have never directly experienced the impacts of war and conflict. In the complicated landscape of the 21st century, I believe that war memorials should push people out of their complacency. These sites need to capture attention and spark curiosity so that current and future generations are inspired to learn more. In doing so, monuments and memorials remain relevant, helping us appreciate the sacrifices made for our country and undertake our role in honoring the Canadians who made them.